It's the shittiest day ever! No, not today. How could it be? You're listening to us. We're talking about those days when things go from bad to worse. Heat stroke. Bill money going up someone's nose. Dude, where's my car? Not the movie, although that was also pretty bad. And in this week's reminder about self-care, the value of a good night's sleep. And hey, before we get started, did you know we sometimes do live streams? If you follow us on YouTube, Twitter, or our Facebook page, you can sometimes see special live video shows that we do. We've got one coming up soon, on July 31st, part of our Throwback Thursday on Saturdays series, where we celebrate the early days of our friendship back in the 1980s. This next one features the first letter that Pitney wrote me when I moved to Texas in 1984, and how obsessed we were with Doctor Who at the time. More details next time, but while you're waiting, be sure to check out our previous live shows. Welcome to Pitney and Amelia's Bitchin' Boutique!
We may be awful, but
we're right! Oh my god, I was thinking the other day, you will totally remember this day because of course you were with me.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember? You remember the time I went to Hippie Hollow with you?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because not just because oh my god that story, and I'm totally, and I may have mentioned pieces of it before, but I don't think I've told the entire story before. But like the thing that is really hitting me right now, there's an ice cream man going by. I'm just gonna let that happen. Because I cannot control.
Is he playing the Ducky song or no?
It's definitely Turkey in the Straw, but I don't. He's far enough away that I can't hear if the duck is quacking.
Oh, because God, I loved when the duck would quack.
I know it's your favorite. But anyway. So the thing that got when I started thinking about that day was when I realized that it wasn't just that day was just nuts, but it was the kind of a day where you have where one thing that happens and it's bad enough, but then it's like dominoes are falling, and now the next, and you think, okay, if that was the only thing that happened today, that that's a bad, now that was a bad day, but then the next thing happens, and each individual thing on its own. Each one is a shitty day, but somehow they all happen on the same goddamn day. And then it ends up being God, this is the shittiest day ever. And so I started thinking about how crazy that day was.
But the thing that sucks is it should have been, for you, the funnest day ever.
I mean, there were parts of it that were fun.
Oh, absolutely. But it should have been the funnest day ever, but oh no.
I mean, okay, but I will say this. In retrospect, thinking of it as a whole, me knowing me, I don't know why I thought I was going to have fun. Okay, can you hear the ice cream man now?
Oh, I can, yes.
He's right up.
'Tis the season.
and I do hear the duck.
Ooh.
I do hear the duck. He's not playing Christmas music like the ice cream man in your neighborhood, though.
Oh God.
Well, it makes it not feel like it's 100 degrees outside when the ice cream man plays "O Come All Ye Faithful."
Yeah, he still plays Christmas music like just a few days ago. Oh yes. Anyway.
So here's the thing. So there's this place near Austin, I guess west of Austin. There's a bunch of lakes.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of lakes northwest, I guess, of Austin. And there's an area on the lake, on one of the lakes, and it's known as Hippie Hollow. And it's basically Austin's nude beach.
Yes.
I guess it still is. Who knows? I wouldn't be anywhere near that anymore.
Oh, God, I haven't been there in 25 years.
Well, yeah. But you and your ex used to go kind of a lot. Didn't
We
you?
used to go a lot, yes.
And the thing was, there was kind of, I guess my understanding was that the area where we were was kind of the gay section.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Which I guess is the reason why we had to scale a sheer mountain face.
Yeah.
To get,
yeah, it was definitely
instead of just
separated
walking
from the rest of it. Yes, yes.
Yeah, like instead of just getting out of your car and walking to the shore of a lake, we had to like climb down the side of a mountain. Which I'll back up. First of all, if you've ever listened to this show before, one thing you would know that is a big difference between Pitney and me is that Pitney, well, I mean, there's numerous things. I mean, you know, like Pitney likes sucking dick a lot more than I do. But Pitney likes being outside more than I do. Being outside in general, not a thing that I do. Being in the sun, not a thing that I do. Being in the heat. I'm not a fan of heights. I don't like nature unless it's controlled nature, like in my garden. So why I thought, I also, like, I can handle, like, ocean water. But, like, like, lakes and rivers to me are gross. They might as well just be stagnant, nasty ponds. Like, to me, they seem filthy. And, like, I don't know, maybe it's because the ocean is bigger and so I don't imagine them just being filled with fish slime. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. Although in the lakes in Austin, you know, we have like a drought and then the lake levels go down and then it's like, oh, look at there's all those dead bodies that we couldn't find 20 years ago. Like, I mean, it's disgusting. But anyway.
Even when the water was full there, I remember sitting on the rocks, standing there, swimming a lot. All those little fish would come and you could feel them nibbling at your legs and stuff. They would come and like nibble.
Oh, that's disgusting. So disgusting. And you're sitting in the world's squeakiest chair again.
I know, I'm sorry. Yes.
It's just, I don't know what, it's because that's the old chair. That's the old office chair,
yes,
right?
because it is genuinely it is burnt orange leather from the 60s.
Yeah. I mean, those things were built to last. But anyway, so Hippie Hollow. So to get to the gay section of Hippie Hollow, you had to, you know, park, walk through the woods, and then you get to like a cliff, and then you climb down a cliff.
Yeah,
And then you get to like a rock ledge, I guess is where we were. I mean, I don't know about the rest of it because I was only there the one time, so I only know that little area where we were. Climbing down I don't know how I did it. I really don't know.
Now looking back on it, and I think even at the time, I think both of us were shocked that you were willing to go. And we were thrilled, but we were kind of surprised that you were even willing to go. And I don't remember right, but I think it may have taken a little bit of talking you into it.
I do. One thing I remember definitely that was ahead of time was that there was discussion about sunscreen. That's a very important topic. And that I allowed you guys to be responsible for the bringing of sunscreen. Which was when I learned that people who are not me think that SPF 15 is sunscreen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
SPF 15 might as well be mayonnaise. Like, I don't know what it is, but it ain't sunscreen. Like, it's just lotion. I mean, now back then I don't think it was possible to get 50 or 100, but you can now, and why would I wear anything less than that? 50 or 100. But anyway, so it was pretty much guaranteed that I was going to get a sunburn, but we'll go back to that later. So me being naked was not an issue. I didn't have a problem with being naked. I did not, however, expect that boats out in the lake would pull up just close enough that you couldn't see who they were, but close enough that they could be out there with, I'm assuming, binoculars, possibly cameras with telephoto lenses.
Oh, and I doubt. I mean, who knows? Maybe, but who knows?
They were lingering. They were lingering, and they were definitely facing our direction. And I don't know what they were looking at, or who they were looking at, or, you know, but they were there. And I just had to pretend like I didn't see them. You know? And it's just, you know, but it's just so fucking tacky. It's so fucking tacky. If you were at an ocean nude beach, it wouldn't be like people would be out in the ocean with like a really good telescope or something watching naked people on the beach. I mean, but a lake you can get a lot closer.
Yeah, because I remember we used to like it when the boats would go by and linger, though, because it was almost always some rich old queen with a boat. And we were young at the time, so that would mean we could get on the boat and we'd be guaranteed free booze and to get our dick sucked. You know?
So was that not happening?
It was a little different when you were there.
Yeah, was that not happening because there was a girl with you?
Maybe.
There was, I didn't see any other people apart from us and the people out in the boats, and then the eventual people that I saw.
Yeah, because we used to love when the boats would come, because all these rich old queens would go and they'd cruise the boat, thinking they were hot shit in their boats. And we get on the boats, they'd give us free booze and beer, wine, drinks, whatever we wanted. And it was just like a guarantee of like a day of drinking, and then we get our dick sucked, and it was great.
Yeah, I guess my presence. So not only did you not get any fun rich old queens action, but you also got to deal with the fact that the next thing you know, you have a friend who is quickly developing heat stroke.
Oh my god, yes.
Who there's no fucking way she's climbing up the cliff.
Yeah.
So my memory was that I did put my clothes back on, but I just got back in the water. And I just sort of swam as best I could along the edge of the lake so I could get to the other part of Hippie Hollow where you could actually just walk out of the water.
Yeah.
And complete naked strangers are helping me out of the water because I was like losing my capacity to function very quickly.
I remember, yeah.
And I remember somehow we got back to the car, and I remember laying down in the back seat, and I guess on the way back we stopped at a store, and I have a memory of Gatorade, of drinking Gatorade, and I must have slept. But, what was it, maybe an hour's drive from your house? It wasn't close, but it wasn't terrible.
Quite that far. It was maybe 45. Yeah,
because you guys live completely. Like if we were going all the way back to my house, it would have been a hell of a drive. But to your house, it wasn't that bad. But I don't really. I remember getting to your house, and then you guys. I remember you guys like just sort of kind of getting me situated, and I just like got in your bathtub with cold water and just sort of, and you guys like, I don't know, went off to get food, or I don't know, you guys were gone for a while, and I remember just sort of like just trying to get my consciousness back in cold water in your tub, and then laying down on the futon and taking a nap. And the next thing I remember, and this is where something that was already this was already a pretty bad day.
Yeah.
This is the stage where it's, are you fucking kidding me? I wake up to, and I don't remember who it was. It may have been you. But I'm awakened to, we thought you left because your car was gone. Because I had been parked in front of your house, and when you guys got back, my car wasn't there. Now, who knows if my car was there when we got back from the lake? I don't know, because we came from the other side.
Yeah, because to say we came from the other side, it was around the corner, so yeah, we wouldn't
Yeah.
have even known. Yeah, yeah.
So, I, I, so then it's like I'm barely functioning, but somehow I'm having to like call the police. And I remember other friends came over. I remember Michael was,
Okay.
well, somehow someone who knew how to find out where the fuck is my car, because we didn't know if it was stolen or what.
Mm-hmm.
But we figured there was a possibility that it might have been towed because there had been construction going on in the intersection, because your house was on a corner. And I remember we somehow, like, describing my car and the license plate or whatever, I was able to find out that yes, my car had been towed, and they told me that it was towed because it was more than 18 inches from the curb.
Oh,
And I
that's right.
said, the hell it was,
Yeah.
because I mean, it was a big car, first of all, and
Yeah.
you lived on a narrow street. And it was like, for me to park way out more than 18 inches from the curb would be like me parking in the middle of the goddamn street.
That's true. That's
I would have
true.
never. And my car was big enough and low enough. It was a 77 Chevy Nova
Yeah.
four-door sedan that I would frequently park so close that it was hard to get out of the car, because to open the door too far meant you couldn't close the car again, because it would get caught in the grass. I was always really close to
Oh,
the
and I
curb.
love that. I've driven that car many times.
That car was a dream. That car had been my
Yep.
grandmother's, and she only drove it for a couple of years before she didn't drive anymore, but it took a really long time to get her to give up that car.
Yeah.
And when I got it in 1987, it was only 10 years old, but it had less than 30,000 miles on it.
And that car hauled ass too.
That car was great.
Yeah.
It also, I had to fill it up every 4 days with $20 worth of gas back when
Mm-hmm.
gas was less than $1 a
I
gallon.
know. What was it, like 80 cents a gallon?
Yeah,
Yes.
but that was still $20 every 4 days, and I
Yeah.
had to, because I commuted in one direction to go to school and in another direction to go to work, and yeah, it was, yeah. Oh, god damn it. That car cost a lot of money, but I fucking loved that car. But anyway, so I got to, while I'm dealing with heat stroke and trying to, and then I don't remember who, I guess you guys drove me home, and then somehow I had to get my roommate to take me to the impound lot and try to figure out how the hell I'm going to get my car home. And you'd think that day was bad enough. But then a few days later, I found out that something I didn't know that day, which was that day, the sunburn that I got, because you know how a sunburn, when it's a really good sunburn, it takes a few days
Uh-huh.
for you to realize, like, if it's gonna blister, it doesn't blister right away. Oh, this one just blistered a bit, but it took about a week before I realized that there were places, keep in mind this was a nude beach, so there were many places on my body that were seeing the sun for the first time. On the tops of each, a space on the top of each of my boobs had an area about like the size of maybe like the palm of my hand, I guess, one on each boob, that ended up with an actual 3rd-degree burn,
Yeah.
where poor, totally broke, no health insurance me had, with no access to healthcare or internet to find out information. I have a sunburn. I'm moisturizing it. All of a sudden, my skin starts to die and rot
I
and
remember
turn
I
black.
have a very specific visual of that, of like brown, dried,
Yeah,
jerky looking dead skin on
like
the top of your
eventually,
boobs. I
yeah.
remember, yep. Yeah.
Because at first it was like rotting in a very wet way because I was
Mm-hmm.
moisturizing it, and then eventually, just asking around, asking friends who had had burns before, finding out that I needed to, that area, I needed to stop moisturizing it. And eventually that skin just needed to die and fall off. And it was really horrifying. And it is amazing that I don't have really bad scarring on top of my boobs.
I know, because I still, this is such a fucking long time ago, but I still have a visual, as I'm sure you do too.
Oh, God.
But I still have a visual in my mind of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It was terrifying, man. I mean, and that was during a period where I lived in a house that had no air conditioning, and I had a roommate that had a little kid, and we had, and she, she had no job, but she would get food stamps. I mean, we had no fucking money, and it was just, like trying to live on like generic food, and and like, well, let's see, how you think witch hazel will help? Like the cheapest possible first aid items, Holy shit, man. It's amazing I didn't get a horrible infection. But I mean, we did everything we could, because I couldn't go to a doctor. I didn't have any money. Yeah,
and I remember that. I remember the sunburn and all of that. But until we talked about this, last week or whatever, I didn't remember the car getting towed. But as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, oh my God, yes, I totally remember it now.
because those two things wouldn't necessarily be connected in your mind,
but they were. That was the same day. Parade of shit for you.
Yeah, I passed out on your futon, and the next thing I knew, oh, your car's not there. What? Why? Yeah, holy shit. God damn it.
Oh, yes.
Shittiest day ever.
Yeah.
Shittiest day ever.
Yeah.
Movies are bombing all over the country. They are posing as movies you already know. They may be in your theaters, your neighbor's home, or even your own.
Why are you doing that voice?
I don't know. I thought it made me sound cool.
It doesn't.
I'm Jason Bishop, host of the Invasion of the Remake podcast, with co-hosts Sam Stepanenko and Trish Coughlin. Join us each week as we rotate talking about your favorite films and their not-so-favorite remakes.
We'll also dig deep to find forgotten films that we think are more worthy of remaking, complete with our own fantasy casting.
You can get all 130 episodes and counting on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play Music, TuneIn, Radio, Player FM, and all the best podcast providers, even
frickin' YouTube.
For the low, low price of absolutely nothing. Join the invasion. Subscribe today.
Or we'll blow up your planet.
It was like, I've had shitty things happen, of course, like we all have, right? But as dramatic as my life has seemed to have possibly been at one time or another, it's never been like a shitstorm like that all in one day.
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of shitty things, but they do tend to happen one at a time.
But then I remembered this one day.
Well, every once in a while.
I remembered this one day. And, I've talked before about my ex-boyfriend / ex-roommate for 5 years after we broke up / friend Ben, generic name.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Bens over the years.
But other names will be. There's only one other name that's relevant, and I have a very exciting alias planned for him, even though it's similar.
Oh my God, okay.
But let me just say, because we were talking about this the other day, and this will just take a minute, but it's kind of funny, I decided to go on, remember Ben's boyfriend after me, the one that I was supposed to be dating, but then Ben took from me on our first date at that dinner party?
That's not the one that cut my hair.
Yes.
The one who gave me the mullet?
Yes, one? We talked about him.
That son of a bitch? All right.
And I'm not saying that I regret that I wasn't his boyfriend, but that's just setting up the shittiness of me and Ben's relationship because, anyway, Anyway, but I was looking at that person's Facebook because that person is still friends with Ben online.
I never even thought about looking him up on Facebook.
And he had all these pictures from, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s with all of their, like, hipster friends that I used to try so hard to be friends with because they were. And all I could think of was like, oh my God, y'all look so fucking stupid.
Oh my God, I'm flashing back to a night we're all sitting around the dining room table, and that guy goes, so one of us brings up Green Day's Dookie album.
Yeah.
And he makes some comment like, oh, I remember that. I was in 7th grade. And I think it was Ben who turned to him and said, you go right to hell.
Right.
And that was because that was the first time that Ben suddenly felt old. Because we were used to that shit. But Ben was finally old enough to be like, oh, you go fuck all the way off. You fucking fetus. Yeah.
But, I just remember like this. And because I was so involved with Ben, even after we weren't involved anymore, I was so much a part of his life and vice versa. And that's who I went out with all the time.
Right.
I was trying to fit in with these group of like these 20-something hipster fucking morons.
Right, because he was already younger than you, and then he hung out with people that were way younger than him.
Yeah, but anyway, it was just kind of funny, but I looked and I was just like, oh my God, y'all look so fucking stupid. And remember Ben used to try to dress me up to be all hipster, and I'd be like, no.
He dressed so weirdly. I mean, fabulously, but weirdly.
He was fabulous, but his friends were fucking douchey.
Because he had style and they were wannabes. I mean, that's basically how... But he was so fabulous that do you remember for his birthday, I bought him what was real, in truth, a costume pimp hat. Not like a big wide brim, but like a fedora style. Pink leopard pimp hat with a rhinestone buckle that he wore out to the bar one time, and Clinton Kelly, the Clinton Kelly, who at that time was still doing What Not to Wear, totally complimented his fabulous outfit and hat. The hat that
he wore that hat a lot, actually.
That hat would make no goddamn sense on anyone but him, because he had the kind of style that he could pull off that goddamn hat.
But anyway, it was just funny, like, looking at those pictures, because it's like, oh my God, what a bunch of fucking hipster fucking douchebags, and why was I even trying to fit in with these people? Just because they were there in my house, right?
And there was a period where they were always in your house.
I know, girl. Anyway, so...
That was when you lived next door to me.
Yes,
They were always around.
But my shittiest day... was back at the Woodrow house.
Okay, so before that. Okay.
When we had just broken up.
Okay.
And he... Okay, so... there needs to be no history here. Okay, anyway.
There doesn't need to be context. No one cares about context.
And it turned out that he was cheating on me with some other guy that I knew. Let's say his name is Brandon Calamari.
Okay.
And
Brandon the Squid Calamari.
Me and Brandon Calamari hated each other.
Okay.
Because we had a mutual ex-boyfriend, and me and Brandon Calamari had also had a one-night stand at one point. And because he was a hipster asshole, and I was about 10 years older...
Right.
We ended up hating each other because he was an asshole, and I don't really even know why he hated me, but he did. Right.
That was back during those days where I would have needed a scorecard to keep up with your life, because Guys went in and out of your life so fast that entire relationships happened before I even knew the people existed.
But let's just say that Brandon
Blink
Calamari,
and
anyway,
you
we
missed
hated
them.
each other. Didn't matter, but him
Okay.
and Ben became friends, and then and I knew, but then of course they started fucking, which I knew, and of course Brandon Calamari was like, oh ho ho, so you know, I'm getting you away from that old queen, Pitney, you know. Because he was that kind of asshole, right? Even though he had been on my dick, you know.
Yeah, you weren't such an old queen when he was on your dick, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that was an ugly situation, and that factors into the story. Okay, so at the time, me and Mark were living with Ben.
Yeah.
Because it was right as Ben was being phased out, and Mark was my roommate.
Right.
For the first time. But every time we were roommates, it was fabulous. But anyway.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah, but anyway, so things were volatile, but I remember at the time the power bill was in Ben's name, right? Mm-hmm. And me and Mark had given Ben money for the power bill. Do you remember back then they would give you like, what was it, like a 24-hour notice, a 12-hour notice? They were going to cut you off for non-payment, but they hang the little hanger on the door.
I mean,
because
I guess.
Ben had told me that he paid the fucking power bill, but he didn't. Because of course he didn't, because he spent it on booze, cocaine, and pot. Of course he didn't pay the power bill because me and Mark gave him fucking money and didn't pay the goddamn power bill, and he said he did.
Because he had a handful of cash, so of course he went and spent it.
So I was freaking the fuck out because I didn't want the power to get turned off because Mark would have been mad.
Right.
Well, I would have been mad too. And when this all happened, Ben was over at Brandon Calamari's house. So I called up Brandon Calamari, who so did not want to hear from me. He's like, you let me talk to Ben right now. And Ben gets on the phone and said, why are you calling me here? And he was all bent out of shape, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I just want you to know that you said that you were going to pay the power bill that's supposed to be paid on your card, and we gave you the money for it. And guess what? We just got a notice it's going to be fucking paid tomorrow, so you better go on the phone and pay the fucking power bill because it's going to be cut off, and I don't have the money for it.
Yeah, I no longer have the money because I already gave it to you.
Well, I don't know what you want me to do. Why are you calling me here? And blah, blah, blah. And it was a big fucking thing, right?
Oh, God, I'm so glad I don't deal with roommates anymore.
Brandon Calamari was all bent out of shape because I would dare to call the house and blah, 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 blah. And, and it was a situation.
I'm just picturing him like just, he's just this squid who's just like, he's so upset he's squirting ink all over his apartment.
So I didn't know what else to do because I didn't want Mark to know. So I ended up having to call my mom.
Oh.
And coming up with God only knows what I told her about my power getting cut off. So anyway, I was able to put it on my mom's credit card because otherwise we wouldn't have had power.
Right. Having to make up a story, a legitimate enough story that wasn't reality, because the reality is not a story you would be able to tell your mother because, oh my God. Yeah.
It was so fucking awful. And one, I had to lie to my mom, and two, the whole having to call over there and having him do what he did, it was just awful. It sucked.
Yeah.
So then, but what makes it the shittiest day, so we hang up the phone, we're fighting, he's pissed off, I'm pissed off, Brandon Calamari thinks I'm a psycho. Poor Mark doesn't know anything about this happening. So I go to bed all pissed off, and then the phone rings. And it's Ben, all upset and crying. Because he's off with Brandon Calamari and all his stupid hipster friends.
Oh, God.
At some park, and I can't remember what it is in Austin, but some park, it's there's like an overview of the lake, and you're on a cliff. I don't remember what the fuck it is. It doesn't even matter.
Oh, if it's out by
But
the lake,
he's
I don't
off with
fucking
his
know.
stupid hipster friends drinking and doing drugs on the cliff. And guess what? Somebody steals his goddamn truck,
Oh!
takes it for a joyride down the hill, and flips it, and they find it half a mile away upside down as
Was
they
this
go
the
looking
cute
for
truck
his
that
truck.
I loved?
It was the Scout,
The
yes.
Scout! Oh, I loved the Scout!
So he calls me in the middle of the night after we've been fighting, after that whole thing,
Oh my god.
with fucking Brandon and his stupid hipster douchey friends.
Ugh.
And at that time, I had the Samurai. The Samurai was broken down, as it always was.
Oh my god.
So I
You
had
were
to
such a little
wake up-
mechanic with that samurai.
I had to wake up Mark in the middle of the night to borrow his car to go pick up Ben and his adulterous lover, who Mark hated.
And all their fucking friends, probably,
Yeah.
right?
So
Oh,
I had
shit.
to wake up Mark in the middle of the night to borrow his car to drive out to the lake to pick their fucking drugged up hipster asses back and drive them to my house.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
So I kind of classified that as my shittiest day.
That's like a non-stop, oh, my Lord.
And it actually is kind of funny, really. Because, I mean, now, because it's all just such 20-something bullshit, right?
Oh, it's all shit that could only happen in our 20s.
Oh, yeah, it's just 20-something bullshit. But oh, God, I was so mad.
Oh,
And
no.
God bless Mark. I thought he was going to be so mad because I woke him up in the middle of the night to borrow his car.
Right.
But because it was me,
well,
he was not. Because if it had been anybody else, he would have been pissed.
Because he was trying to help you. Exactly.
Well, yes. But, oh, God,
Oh my
he hated Ben.
God.
He hated Ben.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's... Oh, God. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Roommate drama. Roommate drama was the worst. I mean, shit, we did an entire episode about our worst roommates. But,
Oh, yeah.
but that, just even, like, anytime a bill wasn't paid on time, it was the worst goddamn... I mean, because when you live paycheck to paycheck,
Oh, yeah.
and you have to... And it's not just your own money you're worrying about, that you're having to worry about someone else's share of something, because all the bills are too expensive for any one of you to be able to pay, and it has to... Every penny relies on everybody chipping in. Oh, shit. I mean, oh, God. Nothing is more stressful than that.
But
And I
the
think
thing
about-
that pissed off is we're talking about somebody in all the time we lived together as boyfriends, and then for the years and years afterwards, not as boyfriends.
Yeah.
That motherfucker never paid me a cent of rent. I supported him that entire fucking time, always. His responsibility was only the power bill, and when Lee lived at the duplex, it was the cable bill. And you remember how that went south. Because remember, I had illegal cable for about half a year after I moved to the duplex, right? Because they never disconnected yours when you moved.
This is the first time hearing that.
Yeah.
Did my husband know that?
No, you weren't getting double billed. It's just they had moved it to your house, but my feed was still live.
Holy shit.
And so I had free cable for like about 6 months until they figured out that it was going into two places.
Oh my God.
And they cut it off. And so that was the only time that he was the one that wanted it and he paid for it. And that didn't last too long before it got cut off.
Oh my God. But when he first moved in with you, like when you were first going out, he moved. Now, granted, he had a lot of, cute furniture and decor and
Yeah.
stuff. But wasn't he also spending an enormous amount of money? Because wasn't he also embezzling money from his work?
Yes, he was embezzling money from his work. Yes, he
So
was
even
indeed.
though he had all this money, he still wasn't paying rent?
No. Mm-mm.
And how was that arrangement? How was it that it was okay with you to have someone move in and not pay rent?
We never even discussed because
Was the dick
I
that
was in
good?
love.
I mean, he was really cute and stuff, but how good does Dick have to be to
I
not have to
was
pay
in
rent?
love. Oh, Lord have mercy. Anyway, yeah,
I
totally
mean,
different topic, but yes.
I've had some, heart eyes sometimes, but I guess I never lived with any of them.
Yeah,
I
but
guess that,
anyway, totally different
holy
topic. But
shit,
anyway, so
man.
yeah. Anyway, that was my shittiest day. And it's kind of,
Uh,
looking back on it, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of funny.
well, I mean, everything's funny 30 years later.
Yeah, yeah,
No, it's not. It's 20 years later.
yeah.
20 years later. 25 years later.
Anyway.
We're old.
The year of self-care.
You know you're supposed to be sleeping better. And I know you think you can't. You can, though. I used to not sleep either. And now I sleep fine. Remember all that stuff about making yourself a priority? Treating yourself like you matter? That's the basis of all self-care. If you've been having trouble getting enough sleep, or better quality sleep, you're going to do what you have to do to get what you need. That's all there is to it. So let's start with a reminder of what not getting enough sleep does to you. It affects your body and your brain. It's not just about being sleepy. It's about being crazy. Lack of proper sleep actually affects your mental health and your mood. It affects your reaction time, like your ability to stop your car in an emergency. It affects your vascular health, increasing your risk of stroke, heart disease, high blood pressure, and even type 2 diabetes. You want to lose a foot? Yeah, I thought not. So you're going to make a real effort, and not by drinking or drugging yourself into a coma every night. Remember our episode on addiction? It's from May of 2019, episode 80. Look it up. No caffeine before bed. Let's say no caffeine of any kind after 3 p.m., at least for a while. See how that does. Get some exercise. And don't tell me you can't. I've already yelled at you about that. It doesn't have to be a lot, just some. And not right before bed, because it'll wake you up. No screens before bed, especially not with a blue tint. Humans have spent hundreds of thousands of years staring into the orange glow of a fire at night. If you need to look at something, make sure it's orange. But while you're getting your sleep on track, try to go cold turkey. Nada. Zip. Dark. And speaking of dark, your bedroom needs to be like a cave. Dark, a good temperature, and comfortable. Don't have stuff in your bedroom that stresses you out. No jokes about your husband, please. And, most important of all, pick a bedtime and stick to it. No matter what your morning schedule is from day to day, pick a sleep time and a wake-up time that you can stick with. Don't focus on how your kid needs this or that. You are making yourself a priority. Show the world, including your kid, that you matter by taking your health seriously. Are you like me? Does your brain talk to itself and you can't shut it up? Give yourself something boring to listen to. Listening to words gives your brain something to focus on other than your own thoughts. I used to use C-SPAN, but there are lots of options. Try guided meditations. Try ASMR. You know, those whispery people. Try self-hypnosis tracks. Try Yoga Nidra, which is a sort of body scanning relaxation technique that I'm going to talk about in the next episode. Try one of those podcasts where someone quietly reads a really boring book at you. Seriously, there is a lot out there, and most of it is free. You'll find something that works for you. I promise. I'll link some YouTube accounts in the show notes to get you started. You're going to lay there in the dark and do your deep breathing exercises and listen to something really boring until your brain can't take it anymore and shuts off. And if you do this every night at the same time, your body will remember. It used to know how to shut off and sleep, but you've been preventing it from doing that. Stop that. Sleep. Sleep. Wait, wake up. You've got a podcast to listen to. Should I tell the story of that guy that Ben dated that you were supposed to be dating, but then he dated him, the one who gave me the mullet? Should I tell the story of the mullet?
Oh, we told that on the show.
Have we?
Oh God, yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Oh my God, I have no memory of telling it. Was it so long ago that people won't have heard it?
Oh yeah, no, we have absolutely told that story.
Oh my God. I mean, really the moral of that story is don't let someone give you a haircut if you're not sitting in front of a mirror. Because it doesn't matter if you totally trust them. You should always be looking into a mirror when someone cuts your hair.
Yeah, but again, he was such a hipster douche. That he was like, well, I'm going to make somebody look stupid and hipster because that's my aesthetic now. And so, of course, it's great for everybody,
But the thing that sucked about that was that he had designed, I hadn't cut my hair since high school. Yeah. I had long hair that all I did was trim off the bottom. I knew I needed a hairstyle, and he designed an actual hairstyle for me that was amazing and banging, and my hair has not been that amazing since because I've never been able to replicate it. Yeah. But even taking pictures of my hair from back then to really good hairdressers and going, can you make me look like this again? And they can get almost close but never quite there. Mm-hmm. Because he had some technique that I can't explain to someone else. But he would just give me the haircut. Yeah. He knew what it was. And I completely trusted him to give me that haircut, even though...
Yeah, but then he decided he was going to be all style on you.
Yeah, that night, I should have known when he said, I want to give you bangs. And I said, I don't want bangs. I haven't had bangs since I was a kid. I don't want bangs. Bangs are stupid. I don't want bangs. And then that should have been an indication that he was going to give me bangs. But, and not just bangs, but a goddamn mullet. He gave me the haircut I had my junior year of high school in 1986. And it was not a good haircut then, and it definitely wasn't good in 2006.
And there's nothing grosser than when a fucking hipster queen says the word style. Because it's going to be stupid.
And although this was one of Ben's finest moments, this was one of those moments that it was as much of that Ben could be a nightmare sometimes, and he would admit that he'd been a nightmare. But
absolutely, yeah.
But when he was great, he was the fucking greatest, and that's why we kept him around. God damn it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh God, no, I love him to this day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that night, because you literally had a house full of people. I mean, you were having a party. And that's why we were in the backyard, because we didn't want to take up the bathroom while you had the one bathroom in the house while you had a house full of people. And I, left very angry after he was like all this, well, what am I supposed to do with this stupid hair that's like exactly hitting me right at the at the middle of my eyes? Well, you just do it like you push it over to the side and you put like a little clip. And I'm like, yeah, because but I'm not 10. Like, I don't know I don't have little barrettes in my house. I'm not a child, and so I ran home furious. And people, one by one, people kept coming over to my house to check on me. And then when Ben came over, Ben said that he completely let him have it because that asshole had the nerve to say to Ben, when Ben was like, what the fuck did you do? That he said, well, I think I know a little more about hair than she does.
Oh,
because he was just about to graduate from beauty school. Yeah, the little ghetto beauty school on Ben White. Yeah, he was, the Baldwin School of Beauty. And he was going to get a job at a fucking salon and charge way too fucking much money as if he went to medical school or some shit.
But the 70s tight polyester shirts and the hip hugger pants make you a king of style.
His goddamn low-rise skinny jeans and
God, did they look stupid.
And the thing was, the very first night I met him, he got mad at me because I don't think someone was smoking pot, but the topic of smoking pot came up, and I mentioned that I used to smoke it, but I did not smoke it anymore. He got angry with me because I no longer smoked pot. And he told me, even though he had just met me less than 30 minutes earlier, he told me that he was going to make it his life's mission to get me to smoke pot again. And I'm like,
Lord.
What an empty fucking life you must have.
Oh, and
if
guess
a complete
what? The thing about him now, he is like living in a different state, and he is an AA queen now.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because he was a fucking, pothead, crankhead, cocaine head.
Oh my God.
And all him and Ben did was fight and beat up one another because they were so fucking strung out on drugs.
Yeah, because they didn't do any drugs that made you relax. They only did the
I don't say
grinding
Ben
your
didn't
teeth
do
drugs.
that, but he used to get fucked up and beat up Ben.
Yeah, there was a lot of hitting.
Over and over.
Yeah.
He was just, thank God I didn't end up with him. He sure was cute, though.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he would have turned into that had it not been for Ben. I think he was susceptible and was Ben was definitely by Ben.
Ben made drugs very, very available.
And
in large quantities.
And Ben was the one that was friends with all those assholes because when we met him, he was just a really cute, nerdy architecture student.
True, that's true.
And then he met Ben and all of a sudden started dressing stupid and became a drug addict. What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because I could have totally turned him in the other way. Couldn't you see him if he had been with me? We would have been going to cons and Ren Fair and doing costumes, and he would have, he would have gone the other way.
He would have become like a really chill hippie druggie, but he wouldn't have become like a crank.
Well, I would have never let him do because why would he have ever done coke and meth and all that shit with me? Because it never would have even been a part of it.
Exactly. He didn't. That shit didn't come into play. He just would have smoked a lot of pot. Now he would have already been he would have still been doing the trying to talk me into smoking pot, which would have gotten on my nerves. Because I'm such a fan of people being like the people who don't listen to the no. I really, really like pot a lot. That's why I don't smoke it. I know it's great. That's why I can't have it.
A bit. It would be interesting, though, to interview him and know what his thought on it was. If he did not dump me for Ben that night, how much better his life would have been.
That was that night. That so many things were fabulous that night. That night was such a could have been such a major turning point for so many people, because that was the night of our amazing Halloween dinner party.
Yeah.
That was the night I was dressed as Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah,
and I was carrying sugar pie with me.
But alas, anyway. But that would be an interesting. You should call him up. Do you realize how much better your life would have been if you just stayed with Pitney and never hooked up with Ben? You wouldn't have been arrested. Yeah. You wouldn't have gone to rehab. You wouldn't have lost your business.
You would have never given me that goddamn mullet.
You know,
because you wouldn't have fucking dared.
He lost a business.
Yeah.
His parents bought him a salon in the town he grew up in.
Oh my God.
But it fucking wasted because he was a fucking drug addict. And he would have never even started doing that shit if it wasn't for Ben and all of his stupid, dressing hipster friends.
Oh my Lord.
And they thought they looked so cool, but God, did they look stupid.
Don't do drugs, kids.
No.
Whatever, but it's mostly because it makes you look stupid and it makes you act stupid, and really that's what you should be avoiding. Don't be so stupid.
Yeah, I will say in closing, because of those people, that is the reason why I hate the word moist.
I don't have a problem with the word moist.
Because they were obsessed with the word moist.
Like they didn't like the word moist?
No, they would just be like really, really fucked up on drugs and just say moist. And all five of them would not stop laughing for 5 minutes. And I just thought it was so stupid because I hated all of them.
Oh, like when I was fucked up
because it's ironic,
Well, it's like when I was fucked up on pot and pills and I would sit and watch the cable access channel that just ran like the Austin Community College schedule, and it would just it was just words on a screen, and it would just be like public announcements and class schedules, and I would just sit there, and for some reason that would be funny to me because I was so fucked up. And it's like, God, I must have been, if I wasn't in a house with a roommate that was also watching that and laughing, and a boyfriend that was also watching that and laughing because we were all fucked up, I would have been insufferable. So you were so lucky that you were in Guatemala and you missed it, because God damn it. How boring I must have been.
Oh my God, that just reminds me something that's funny. Okay. So at Kerrville, the Kerrville Folk Festival that I always talk about, there is this camp called Honky Tonk.
Okay.
And they have really great music there. It's like they have banging music there,
like musicians
fiddle,
live there?
banjo, fiddle, banjo, guitar, the whole shebang, all together in a really different way than any other camp on ranch, right?
Do you mean the people who camp there are musicians?
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But because of that scene, that camp is the craziest party scene.
Oh, probably.
And
I'm sure it's all night.
Of the ranch. And 1 year, and it's because Moist reminded me of this.
Stop it.
1 year, because everybody gets so fucked up at that camp, there were several people that went to that camp that would scream all night, every night, "Pickup truck! Pickup truck!"
Oh my God.
And then there'd be 3 people screaming, "Pickup truck!" And then there'd be maniacal laughter. And that went on night after night after night for an entire season. And I was like, oh my fucking God.
Oh my God.
And there were even graffiti in The porta potties pickup truck.
Pickup truck.
And that just reminded me of Moist. Because it was something that fucked up hipsters thought was funny. And they wouldn't fucking let it drop.
Oh my god. I mean, it's not like it's actually funny like Dips.
Dips is funny.
Dips is legitimately funny.
Pickup truck.
Oh, girl, screaming when you're trying to sleep at 4 a.m. after you've heard it 50 times. Just imagine.
I would be like having a sign up with like a red circle with a line and the words pickup truck. I would be like not subtle about it. I'd be like, oh, don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare. Oh my god. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, please take a moment to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher.
If you send us a screenshot of your review, we'll send you a Bitchin' Boutique sticker.
Everyone loves stickers! Please subscribe or add us to your favorites wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribers get new episodes first and are also more attractive.
Drop us a line anytime at PitneyAndAmelia@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you!
Pickup truck.
Pickup truck.
Pickup truck.
Pickup truck.